The low hum of jet engines filled the cabin as passengers shuffled down the narrow aisle, searching for their seats. Flight attendants smiled politely, helping with luggage, guiding families, and calming anxious travelers. It was an ordinary flight from Los Angeles to New York, 6 hours across the country, with the usual mix of business professionals, families, and tourists. In seat 14C, a bald-headed man in his late 50s leaned back with an air of superiority. His crisp blue shirt was tucked perfectly into pressed slacks, and shiny brown leather shoes tapped impatiently on the floor. A half-open bag of Doritos rested on his lap, the strong smell of artificial cheese wafting around him. His name was Robert Caldwell, a wealthy real estate investor who believed the world revolved around him. Robert had boarded the plane late, cutting through the line as though the rules didn't apply. Now, comfortably seated, he stretched his legs arrogantly across the narrow aisle. Without hesitation, he propped one polished shoe against the back of the seat in front of him, uncaring that a young passenger was about to sit there. That passenger was Amara Johnson, a quiet 9-year-old girl traveling with her mother. Amara wore a light pink dress decorated with embroidered flowers. Her braided hair shone under the airplane lights, and her dark eyes carried the quiet resilience of a child raised to be respectful and kind. As Amara tried to squeeze into her seat, she froze. Robert's leather shoe was pressed directly against her armrest, intruding into her personal space. She looked at him timidly, hoping he'd notice and move his foot. He didn't. Instead, Robert opened his Doritos bag wider and shoved a handful into his mouth, chewing loudly. Bright orange crumbs sprinkled his tie and fell onto the floor. Amara's mother, Danielle, slid into the window seat beside her daughter. She gave Robert a polite smile. "Excuse me, sir. Could you please move your foot? My daughter needs space to sit comfortably." Robert barely turned his head. His pale blue eyes scanned her dismissively. "She'll be fine," he said flatly, crunching another chip. "Kids don't need much room." Danielle's lips tightened, but before she could reply, the flight attendant made an announcement, reminding passengers to fasten seatbelts. Danielle placed a hand on Amara's shoulder, whispering, "It's okay, sweetie. Just sit. We'll get through the flight." But Amara didn't move. She stood firm, staring at Robert's shoe that blocked her space. Her small hands curled into fists, though her face remained calm. She had been taught never to be rude, but also never to let someone treat her unfairly. Passengers nearby began noticing the scene. 2 women in professional attire, seated across the aisle, exchanged looks. A blonde lady in her 40s whispered, "Can you believe this guy?" Her companion, a brunette with sharp eyes, frowned in disapproval. Robert seemed unfazed. He leaned back, crunching another handful of Doritos, and smirked as if daring anyone to challenge him. But the one who finally did was not an adult. It was Amara. With quiet determination, she placed her small hand on Robert's polished shoe and gently pushed it away. Gasps rippled through the cabin. Robert's head snapped toward her. "Hey, what do you think you're doing, kid?" His voice was sharp, indignant, as though he had been wronged. Amara's voice was soft but steady. "This is my seat. You can't put your foot here." Her words hung in the air like a challenge. For a moment, Robert looked stunned. Then, his face hardened. He leaned forward, his voice low and menacing. "Listen here, little girl. I've been flying longer than you've been alive. I paid for my ticket, and I'll sit however I please. Got it?" Amara didn't flinch. She simply shook her head. "No, sir. That's not respect. My mom says everyone deserves respect." The cabin grew silent. Even the flight attendants paused their work to watch. Danielle reached for her daughter's hand, nervous about provoking conflict, but something in her daughter's calm courage stopped her. Robert chuckled bitterly and shoved another chip into his mouth. "Respect. Don't talk to me about respect. This is how the real world works, kid. The strong do what they want. The rest just deal with it." It was then that one of the women across the aisle spoke up. Her name was Marissa Thompson, a lawyer known for defending victims of workplace harassment. She leaned forward, her tone sharp. "No, sir. The real world works because people agree to respect each other. Right now, you're showing none." The blonde beside her, Kelly, added, She's just a child. Move your foot. Robert snorted, unimpressed. Two more voices in the peanut gallery. Typical. But as he said it, he realized more passengers were watching. A young man with headphones lowered them. An elderly couple in row 15 whispered angrily. Even a flight attendant approached cautiously. Sir, the attendant said firmly, we need all passengers to respect each other's space. Please lower your leg. Robert's jaw tightened. He hated being told what to do, especially in public. His pride swelled, urging him to dig in his heels. I'm not bothering anyone. This girl's just being dramatic. But Amara, still standing, looked him directly in the eye. Her small but steady voice carried through the cabin. You're bothering me. The simplicity of her words struck deeper than any argument. The entire plane seemed to exhale at once. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the rows. Robert felt the weight of dozens of eyes on him. For the first time, his confidence wavered. He grabbed another chip, but his hand trembled slightly. The crunching sound now seemed loud, almost desperate. Finally, with a sharp sigh, he yanked his foot down. Fine. Whatever. Happy now. Amara climbed into her seat without another word. She didn't smile or gloat. She simply buckled her belt and looked out the window, her dignity intact. But for Robert, the flight had just begun to unravel.